Buddha said, the root of all suffering is desire. Pretty sure that's what he says. It's either that or attachment and aversion, which is basically desire. Everybody wants to be happy. We all think that happiness is something not here or not with us, but it's something that we strive for. We want it. So what is the meaning of happiness? If we were to take it back to its root, fulfillment of desires, like we think we need to do this thing in order to feel this thing and have this fulfillment to be happy. I gave the example with the Buddha, but all of the truths in all of their forms and varieties around the universe share this pretty universal truth that happiness is within you. On this note, we're going to start with the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. This is an 8-limbed system, the 8-limbed path of yoga. But yogi or not, right? Yoga is the most natural thing. Sometimes it's like we put that name, that label yoga, it just closes the door to so many people and so many different groups of people. In truth, this feels like the most human and natural thing a human can do. It's as if we're trees. Trees, they grow for a long time. Some trees grow for thousands of years. They grow, they evolve, they bear fruit. They wither, they come back season after season. In this way, as they're growing and as they're evolving, they are communicating with the entire world around them. They're expanding their intelligence as they do that. They just continue to grow. To me, this is like what yoga feels like. We are just growing, evolving, raising the intelligence in the human system, and doing so through the ways that humans historically, traditionally have been able to hold on, learn information, hold on to things, and interpret it into process or systems. So stories, and of course, utilizing the biology. So actually, instead of going through them one by one, I'm just going to kind of share the essence according to my experience and what I feel, and also who might benefit and experiencing some of the practice for yourself. We have these sutras. So they do start with the yamas and the niyamas. And so when I say lead a better life, there you go. There's the essence, the foundation of that. Simply by following the yamas, which are our restraints. These are the things that we don't do. You purify your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, your words, and you become more aligned with the inner innocence, and therefore more connected to your own self in a more loving, genuine way. And when you are connected to yourself in such a way, simply by not doing certain things, or not indulging certain human or primitive aspects of the human nature, you are encouraging the higher aspects of human nature to be developed and strengthened and to become the default setting. That's the evolution happening. From here, niyamas are the observances. And so it comes to what it feels like for me is habits. We are basically training the body and mind through the way that it can be trained, which is repetition and habits, to raise that intelligence, to purify the old patterns and old thought patterns and habitual thinking patterns that have been passed on to us, as some might call this conditioning. We cultivate higher qualities, you could say, or simply just simpler qualities that are rooted in the very best things for us. So we strengthen the good qualities. When I say good and bad, it's hard to speak about because eventually we go beyond that too. So why bother with yamas and niyamas? I were to ask you to go sit and focus on a single object, whether that be your breath or a physical object or God, it would be hard, right? And I don't even mean to say you. It would be very challenging. Why is it challenging? Because the mind is so habituated into its thought patterns and its cravings and desires and attachments and aversions and all of this. When followed earnestly, the restraints end up freeing us. They end up liberating us from suffering that we may cause to ourselves or to others. And the niyamas, observances, are those practices, those choices that we make that also free us from the conditioning of the habituated mind and the mental patterns that pull us and that we are so identified with that we don't know how to choose other than the patterns. The momentum is very strong. So the sutras really speak to this thing called samsara, which is being on the wheel of karma, death and rebirth. Beyond all the religious stuff that you might have in your head as I say that, what that really means is that our patterns and our habits are so extremely powerfully strong. The brain and the mind and the body work together in forming these habits, just like you were to do any other skill or learn anything new. You do it through repetition. So samsara, that wheel of death and rebirth, and then karma, the things we are bound by, but that's just an illusion. Sutras show step out of that illusion through these steps, these limbs. That's another thing that this can help you, because really we learn that we are the ones in control. We have to remember that it starts within. There's no possible way you are a victim to life, because life is happening through you, right? Again, it's a human thing that we're doing in yoga. Ultimately, we strip everything away and it becomes less and less personal. And when things become less personal, everything transforms, right? Everything begins to transform for the better. And we learn how to trust life more as well. So there's also pranayama, asana and pranayama, respectively, and then pratyahara. We will save pranayama for an entirely other video because it's that important and I have so much to share about it. But all of these kinds of things, paths of yoga or any sort of path, whether it's in this tradition or the next, all of them are really just to help you come back to yourself and point you back inside. And if it's not doing that, just use your discernment. We're never supposed to be bound by any of this or tied into something, confined. It's all just here for us. Like, these things have been left behind for us to use to free ourselves, not to continue the cycles, right? Ultimately, whatever you're seeking, it's going to be within you. You're going to find those answers within you. And actually, you are the only one who can give you the answers that you're seeking. None of these books or any teachings or traditions or paths, systems, any of it is going to give you what you're ultimately longing for, yearning for, seeking. That is your duty. That is for you to find. And so, good luck. Really, that's my only hope, that you find whatever piece of information that needed to find you here and now today, and do with it what you will. It is literally the most beautiful thing we can do, individually and together. So thank you again for being here. Sending you so much love, as always, so much peace and light, and yes.